Alright, so today instead of part 2 for that Blackbird ukulele tutorial, I figured I would upload something that when I was first learning ukulele this summer that gave me a lot of trouble for some reason, whatever reason, I don't know. Apparently a lot of people have trouble with it. It's called chucking. It's where you have that, it sounds like you're, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like a percussion method or technique that you use to add more rhythm to what you're playing, and as you heard in the intro, it makes it much more interesting than just playing. It's much more interesting to have that nice chucking sound to make it, to give it a little bit more driving rhythm, so to have it. And so, I know what a lot of people do at first is, especially what I did at first, is I would just use my pinky and bar it like that. But sometimes you can get stray notes in there and stuff like that, and it just is not, it's not the same as having an actual chuck that you don't need any fingers for. It's all done with your right hand, I guess, unless you're playing it like this, but that's not the majority of people that play ukulele. So I'm just going to kind of go over how I kind of figured it out. I looked at a couple of YouTube videos and they weren't particularly helpful. It was mostly just people saying, yeah, you just kind of hit the ukulele. I mean, and I was like, well, that's not the right sound. And then when you're strumming, it doesn't make sense to hit the ukulele. So the way I kind of figured it out is I guess the best way is just to kind of show you guys. So the best way I can describe on doing it is it's almost like you're gonna catch your hand before it goes all the way across the ukulele. Like you're gonna catch your hand on the ukulele. So you're not hitting it per se, but you're stopping it, if that makes sense. So it's like you're going to strum, and just say we're gonna use these two fingers because that'll simplify it rather than using the whole hand. So if you're using these two fingers, and just strumming openly, and then you catch it before you come down, it's more catching it with your wrist, honestly, this part of your hand. It's not really the palm of your hand. It's really with the wrist. So as you can see, when you bring your fingers over it, you just kind of plop your wrist down on the strings right after that. And it's like you're catching your wrist right on the fingerboard, if that makes sense. And so then you can just kind of start incorporating that into any song that you play. I know a lot of you, some of you might have seen Bob's Burgers, I don't know, and so you can just put it in wherever you want, really. It's kind of an improvisational technique almost. It's not something that, I mean, sometimes it'll get written in, but a lot of times it's just, kind of put it in wherever you want to. There are a couple different ways to get kind of a chucking sound. It's similar to chucking in that it's going to add rhythm. What you can also do is you can kind of lift your fingers up. Let me bring this a little closer. So if you kind of, say you're just bar the second fret, and if you leave it down, it's just going to ring, right? But you can lift it up in between, and you don't have to lift your finger off. You can just kind of release some pressure, and that's going to stop the sound. So if you were going to say, play so you can play that all, that's, you can do that, but it's not great. And then if you start adding in some of that extra rhythm though, so I mean, you can just kind of play around with that, incorporate it into some of the songs you already know, and it's just much more impressive, honestly. It just makes you sound better versed on your instrument. So that's the lesson I've got you guys today. I did finish finals today, so I've got lots of time now, so I can bust out that second part of the ukulele, of Blackbird. So yeah, have a good holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I do both. So yeah. Yeah, see you next time, YouTube.